Okay, hello everybody. First of all, welcome to my Monolith Hero build series where I usually go into one of my personal builds and pretty much just do a deck profile and show you guys, how I came to build that deck. But today, for this episode and for a couple more episodes, we're going to do something different. What I'm going to do, as the title suggests, is we're going to do a general fighter build. And what that means is that we are making a build that can more or less be used across almost any melee range hero that is basic attack dependent for their damage out. Aurora can use this build, Crunch, Feng Mao, Chimera, Grux, Greystone, Kwang, Rampage, Steel, Sevrog, Seraph. I mean, there's a few there that really should, like Kwang, he should probably do a little bit more ability based, but he can still do basic attack focus. And what the build is it's a simple build, a simple build, and I'm going to pretty much just I'll use Rampage as the example, but really any fighter can use the build. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, right? Usually, most people nowadays go with the Archmagus Prime card because you want your minions to do as much damage to structures as possible. Once you're at the point where you're going for Orb Prime, that's really objectives like structures, towers, and hibs in the core are way more beneficial than having a little bit of extra health on your minions or having your minions take out other minions, because once you're getting Orb Prime, your hero more than likely will be at a point where they could take out the minions themselves, especially with this build. So let's go ahead and start with the Archmagus card. And I won't name the deck. For Rampage, I probably would do a solo slash jungle build. But first, let's just get rid of the basic type of cards that almost any fighter can really use. And the important part when looking at this build isn't the cards themselves, but it's the CP distribution, right? It's how are you using your card points, into which stats are you using your card points, right? So with Rampage, or with any fighter, you can do something simple, right? And we're gonna start with the final build. And it's going to be pretty much just, the final build is going to be 2 6-point cards and 4 12-point cards. Some people don't like doing that, some people do. I like doing that. It makes it, pretty straightforward, what you got to do in order to build properly there. So what we're going to do here is pretty much just start off with the endgame build. So endgame, some people don't like to use wards. I don't know why. Use wards. Please use wards. An easy way to get a ward early on and to have it all the way through the late game is to make it, in terms of this build, one of your 6-point cards, right? So we're just gonna just 3 minor power cards there. We're gonna get that. That's gonna pretty much be one of our very first cards that we get, and it's gonna stay with us till the very end. Okay. Now the other 6-point card that we're gonna get, we're gonna leave it for later, to see how the build evolves. I mean, I have a general idea of where I want to go, but I am doing this off the top of my head, because it's a simple build. It's not something that's like crazy. Now here they do recommend, they recommend health and tanky card and attack speed because he's Rampage. He can be a tank, but we're not doing a tank build specifically. We're doing a DPS fighter. So a DPS fighter, yeah, that's probably a better description, is melee DPS fighter, somebody that is going to have a lot of attack, power, crit chance, and crit bonus. That's going to be your main source of damage. So let's go ahead and start off with attack speed. And it's very simple. The game kind of gives you the cards that you already need in order to do that, right? As we can see with Rampage, he has access to the Fury cards. However, there aren't many Fury cards. I mean, you can argue Thunder Cleaver, but that's more of a early to mid game card that gets thrown away in the late game. And right now we're doing the late game build, so we're going to go Whirling Wand here with triple kinetic. Okay. Then what we're going to go with is very simple. Some power, some more power for late game. If I can just find one card here that will satisfy that need. Yeah, I think it was fine. And the important part of these late game cards here is that they specialize in the CP that they specialize in. For example, this card here does have 1 CP's worth of crit chance, but everything else is pretty much just power. Same thing for this Whirling Wand. It has 1 CP of power, but everything else is attack speed. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want as close to a 1-to-1 ratio as possible when we're making decks for melee ranged fighters like Rampage. Next up here, we're gonna go straight into crit chance here. Still following the same type of mentality here, where we want the late game cards to specialize in the stat that they specialize in, so that we can get the most from them as possible. So we're gonna simply go here with a triple wound here. Now, because we are using crit chance, we are going to need crit bonus, right, to take advantage of that crit what's it called, the crit chance. And here's kind of when a lot of builds kind of deter and go off in different directions, right? Because there's a lot of different cards with a lot of different stats. See, this gives you health regain, which Rampage actually loves health regain. You know, one of his passives and his ult is all about health regain. We have here mana, we have here power, we have here attack speed, we have here more attack speed. He has access to 2 crit bonus cards with attack speed. We have health and life steal. Usually what I would do when going for a build like this is I would usually go for a crit bonus, right? Because that's going to add a lot of sustain. But seeing as how this is Rampage, right? This is how every kind of hero is a little bit different. Even though I'm making a general build here, I still take into consideration the specifics of whatever hero I'm building for. So because he has an insane amount of sustain in his kit already, we can simply go for more power here. There's no need to do anything else. So let's go 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Okay, so right there is our 4 12-point cards, right? Blade of Agora, Whirling Wand, Spear of the Rift Hunter, and Micro Nuke. The next card here that I want to get, and if we look at the build, what are we doing, right? We're focusing on power and attack speed. Very simple stuff. It's just power, attack speed, and crit chance. We want to hit hard, we want to hit hard often, and I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. That's what you want to do, right? So because of that, we can look into basic pen here. And with basic penetration, what we're going for is, and whatever hero you're building for, you'll have different cards here, depending on which affinities that hero has. But in general, what I would recommend is you either go straight power or you go straight pen with the second 6-point card of the final build. Okay, final build is very important. This right here, this is the final build. You're not gonna be rocking all these 6 cards throughout the entire build game. You're gonna be building up to these cards, right? So we're looking for 6 cards. It can't be this and it can't be that. It has to be one of these two, right? We could get some mana regain, or we could just get some more power and some basic pen. And we want to just get more power here, so let's go ahead and do that. And the reason why I go into minor pierce here instead of just straight power is because we have so much power in the deck already that we really will get more damage from going into some pierce than we will from going into more power, because every hero has a set amount of defense, and what I mean by defense is basic armor and ability armor. So when you're looking at a final build like this, you take into consideration that you are going up against heroes who are presumably max build and max level. So with that being said, these 4 points of CP into basic penetration that you get, right, is going to help your damage out against players a lot more than simply getting more power. Now you could do more power, but because team fights and killing enemy players count a lot more than just doing more damage in general, so that's why I would say go for a little bit of pierce there. And this is pretty much the final build here. These 6 cards for pretty much any fighter, and remember, it's not so much the cards themselves as it is the CP. Cards that change based on heroes is going to be the crit bonus card, right? Different heroes have access to different crit bonus cards, except and I also went with the Blade of Agora because all heroes have access to Blade of Agora, so in case you're copying it toe for toe. But generally speaking, you won't really be able to do that. I mean, you can, but if there's other cards, if you want some more, if you want to feel a little bit safer, you could go into lifesteal for this card. You could go into health, things like that, or just go straight more damage. If you do, however, go into something other than damage for your crit bonus card, I would suggest then to have another card here. This card probably should not be penetration. It should just probably be power and crit chance, or power and attack speed. So now what we have to do is we had to make a way for us during the game to get up to this level, to get up to the point where we can rock these cards. And we do that simply by making some early game variants of the very same cards, right? You see here we have a 12-point whirling wand. So let's go ahead and make a whirling wand with minor kinetics. That would be a 6-point whirling wand. Okay, we have a Spear of the Rift Hunter. Let's make an early version. And we have a micro nuke. Let's go ahead and make an early version of that too. It's very simple. There's not much thinking involved. involved really. It's just, you know, it is what it is. The only problem with doing a build like this is that you will have to eventually just straight up go into one of the cards, you know, one of the 12-point cards, raw, and by that I mean that like usually it's gonna be the Blade of Agora, right? Because the whirling one is just gonna be upgraded into this, so it's like you're spending 6 points, and then to get the final version, all you gotta do is spend another 6 points. You know, and that's true for all the cards except for the Blade of Agora. You know, because these two are 6-point cards themselves. So 1 6-point card, 2 6-point cards, 3 6-point cards, 4 6-point cards, and then your starter items. You know, so then you're gonna need to get rid of something for the Blade of Agora. Because this is Rampage, however, and then here it also depends. The starter items depend on what you are going to be using the hero in, right? So if you're going off lane, for example, you usually want to take a healer token and a health pot. If you're jungling, excuse me, you can do a jungle drink. If he's a growth hero like Rampage is, or usually for jungle, for heroes that don't have some type of sustain, they grab a Siphon. He actually does have sustain in his build, so he will probably benefit from grabbing a Scythe instead. And that's all that is. This is jungle specific items. If you're not a jungler, you shouldn't be grabbing these items. The Scythes, right, they all have Scythe in their name. Beastmaster, Brawlers, and Guardians, Scythe, they all have Scythe in their name. And then the Scythe, same thing, it's just a Scythe. And the difference is that the Scythe increases your damage on jungle minions versus the Siphon restores your health versus per basic attack on jungle minions. So again, you pretty much just go with whatever the hero doesn't have. If the hero has sustain, you go for the Scythe. If they don't have sustain, you go for the Siphon. It's pretty simple stuff. That's for jungle, and of course I already showed you the off lane start, which would be the healer token and the health pot. I mean, you could use him as a support as well. He does okay as a support, although this is not a support build. This is just a straight fighter build, a very generic fighter build at that. Usually with this build, you know, you'll be close, pretty damn close to max potential DPS. It's a simple build like this, so take advantage of that really. That you're gonna be able to hit pretty hard, pretty fast as well. Yeah, I mean, aside the starter items, again, depends on what role you're playing, but in general, this is the build. There are some nuances with other cards and other type of things that you can do that are very hero specific, but in general, a build like this will somewhat guarantee that you're allocating your CP as you should be as a fighter. If you're a DPS melee fighter, something close to this, you know, in terms of final build, I should say, right? Remember, the final build is simply this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? It's very simple distribution. You know, 12 points power, 12 points crit chance, 12 points attack speed, crit bonus card, ward, and a 6-point card. It doesn't even have to be penetration. If you feel like penetration is a waste, then get another macro nuke. It doesn't really matter, you know? But that is the basic type of fighter build that will more or less work. you won't have anybody flaming you for your build if you use something similar to this build on pretty much any of the fighters, So that's gonna be all for this video. It's pretty much just a very basic beginner level deck building guide for fighters in general. It's not specific. I use Rampage, but again, not specific to Rampage. It's not even the best, probably not even. Yeah, I would say that it's not the best build for Rampage specifically, but it'll work. It will work. You will be doing a lot of damage with this build on almost any fighter. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped out. Any questions, just let me know in the comments below. Have a great day.